Welcome to this chest opening yoga flow, and in today's practice you may need a couple of blocks. So these are just options for a couple of poses. So if you don't have any, don't worry about it, don't stress about it. Otherwise, if you have your blocks, just pop them to one side, and I'm going to offer you a couple of options with those blocks just to really open up through the chest and through the upper back. We're actually going to start in a kneeling position today, so come down, take a seat with me. Relaxing the tops of the feet onto the mat, settle your sitting bones onto your heels, and then just rest your hands somewhere in your lap or on your thighs. Close off the eyes, and then see if you can just grow a little taller through the crown of the head. As you inhale, feel that pull of the crown of the head up towards the sky. And as you exhale, feeling that drop the shoulders, settling the sitting bones into your seat. Allowing this moment of stillness just to check in with how you feel, particularly through that chest and upper back area. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, blinking the eyes open. We're going to start with a little kind of seated cat-cow here. So as you inhale, you're going to take your fingertips behind, lift the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, hands to knees, chin to chest, rounding the back. Lovely. Inhale, taking the arms behind, fingertips find the floor, look up. And as you exhale, round. Scoop your belly in, chin to chest. Nice. In your own time here. So using a nice big inhale to broaden across the front of the chest. And as you exhale, navel to spine, fingertips to knees. Lovely. One more inhale, taking the fingertips behind, lift the heart up and open. And as you exhale, hands to knees, rounding the upper back for that nice big stretch through that upper back. Wonderful. Inhale, sliding your hands back towards you, come to neutral, and then come find an all fours position. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, spread those fingers wide, soft elbows. So we'll take cat-cow here, nice and slow. So as you inhale, drop your belly, shining the heart forwards, look up. You might find you get a little bit more range. And then as you exhale, round it on out, let your head drop down, push your shoulder blades apart. Lovely. Inhale, dropping the belly, tailbone up, crown of the head up. And as you exhale, round it on out. Perfect. As you inhale, come to a neutral place now, and we're going to find puppy pose. So keeping the hips exactly where they are, you're going to walk your hands forwards, dropping the chin or dropping the forehead down towards the earth. So you're sinking your heart down towards the mat. So this is option 1. If your head is hovering, option 2 is to grab a block or a pillow and pop your head onto the block, just so you've got support through the neck and you can really chill out a little bit more. Option 3, you can use a block underneath each hand or underneath each forearm. You decide what works for you. And then you can sink your chest just a little bit deeper into the shape, so it gives you a little bit more range. So you decide. If you feel like you need more opening through the chest, grab your blocks and go for that one. That's probably the most opening. Otherwise, wherever we are sinking that heart down towards the earth. Lovely. Just being mindful of the shoulders here. If there's anything that feels painful or injurious, just back off a little bit. Otherwise, let's see if we can really kind of open up through that front side. Really big heart opener here. Wonderful. Let's take one more breath in. And a little sigh. Good. And then slowly walking the hands back towards you. Hands underneath the shoulders. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, push your shoulder blades into the sky. Let your head drop down. Take a couple of breaths here. Scoop your belly up. So draw navel to spine. Should feel like a nice refresh in that back side of the body. Wonderful. Inhale to a neutral place. You're going to shift your hands forward and then lower your hips all the way down And we're going to bring our elbows underneath the shoulders. So we're in this Sphinx pose like so. Keep a little bit of activity through the toes. So see if you can point your toes back. And then imagine you're like dragging your hands back towards you as you shine your heart forward. So you should feel a nice opening through that front side of the chest. A little bit into maybe the first 2 abdominals by your rib cage there as well. Wonderful. Option to stay here. This is an option. Or if you feel like you can go a little bit more, take your hands out a bit wider and begin to straighten up your arms. So coming into a seal position. Nice, proud and open chest here. Allowing the shoulder blades to slide down the back. If this feels too much for your lower back, just calm down. That's totally an option. Otherwise, feel that nice opening through your front side of your body. Wonderful. Smooth and controlled breath in. Calming sigh out. Wonderful. Slowly coming down to your forearms. And then slide your hands underneath the shoulders, big toes together, pushing back to child's pose. So sitting bones to heels, forehead to the earth or to the backs of your hands. Take a couple of really big deep breaths. And just notice how maybe refreshing that feels. Wonderful. As you inhale, come on forwards to all fours. Tuck toes and then find your first downward facing dog. So spread those fingers, establish yourself here through your foundations. And just take a little moment to like test the waters in your downward facing dog today. So a little pedal of the feet. Nice, a little maybe shake of the tailbone, a shake of the head, whatever you need. Really spread your fingers nice and wide. See if you can rotate your biceps forwards so it gives you a little bit more opening and space around the neck and the chest area. Keep lifting up through your core and lift up through your pelvic floor. Wonderful. From here, scoop up through your belly. You're going to walk your hands back to your feet with control. Nice and slow. And come to a nice easy forward fold. So bend the knees, let your head go. And just take this really nice nourishing ragdoll pose. Good. Really loosen up through the upper body. Great. From here, we're going to interlace our fingers behind us. Squeeze the palms together. See if you can let the fist fall way, way, way overhead. Awesome. Bend the knees as much as you need to, so it's not really about the hamstrings. Squeeze your palms together. Feel that opening through your bicep and the front of your shoulder. Nice. Option to take a little sway. You can bend into one knee and then the other. Let that fist fall wherever it wants to go. Nice. Perfect. And then bringing your fingertips down towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. See if you can find that nice opening through the chest, length through the spine. As you exhale, fold. Relax your neck, relax your knees as well. Good. Inhale, walking your hands forwards to a high plank position. Hands underneath the shoulders. And then as you exhale, lift back and up into downward facing dog. Awesome. As you inhale, you're going to step your right foot in between your hands. Drop the back knee, untuck the toe, and then you're going to come up to a low lunge. So inhale, reaching the arms up. And as you exhale, cactus out your arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Now, if this is pinchy on your lower back, totally just don't sink into the hips so much. Be up here and find that nice opening through the chest. Otherwise, strong through the upper back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Feel that nice broadening through this whole front side. Energy through your fingertips as well. Great. Take a nice big breath in. As you exhale, hands to mat, step it back to a high plank here. Breathe in. As you exhale, lower all the way to your tummy. So use your knees if you want, or come down through a chaturanga here. Good. Bring your big toes together and point them. Interlace your fingers behind your back. As you inhale, peel your ribs off the mat, and lift the chest here. So imagine you're like lengthening your body. So your toes are pointing back, crown of the head pointing forward. So we're lengthening our front side, getting our upper back nice and strong. to really open through the chest. So often when you find you're rounding into the chest, it might come because we've got weak upper back muscles. So see if we can strengthen there to keep our chest and our heart nice and open. Take one more breath. And as you exhale, hands come down underneath the shoulders, nose to mat, big toes together, child's pose. Settle the sit bones back, breathe into that upper back, breathe into where you feel the warmth. Good. As you inhale, come forwards to all fours, tuck toes, and then re-find your downward facing dog. Awesome. On your next in-breath, you're going to step your left foot in between your hands, drop that back knee, untuck the toe, come on up, low lunge, reach on up. And as you exhale, cactus out your arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together. So you bend into the elbows, nice proud and open chest here. Core is engaged, lift up through your pelvic floor, scissoring your legs together. Nice, so you want to be nice and strong and stable in this lower half of our body. So this upper half can really open up. Chin up. And see if you can imagine yourself reaching up and back. So you're really opening this whole front side. Lovely. Big breath in. As you exhale, hands to mat, step it back to a high plank. Breathe in. As you exhale, lower all the way down to your tummy. Use your knees if you need to. That's all good. Nice. From here, you're going to take your right hand out to the right. So you might need to shimmy to the left of your mat. Palm facing down. From here, you're going to use your left hand as a little pillow. Bend your left knee. And your left big toe is going to reach for your right little finger. So it might not touch your little finger, that's okay. But it's going to find the floor behind you. So maybe you're resting on the toe like so. Maybe you might be foot flat on the floor. And this is really opening out through that right shoulder. And you're getting a little Brucey bonus of a twist through your middle back there as well. So if you want more, lean back more. If you want less, roll more onto your tummy. So you decide. Relax your right fingertips all the way down to each finger. Softening into the pose. Wonderful. As you inhale, slowly come back through the middle. Come onto your tummy. Bring that right hand in. Shimmy to the right side of your mat. And then your left hand is going to come out to the side. So you want to make sure your wrist is in line with the shoulder. So you don't want it lower, you don't want it higher. Great. Bending your right knee. And then your right foot is going to reach over for your left hand. And then you decide here. Use this hand as a little pillow. So maybe the toe is you're on the point of the toe and you're up quite high. Maybe the foot is flat and you're really leaning back into it. But you can gauge, you can take a little moment to kind of rock forwards and back even and just find what feels most suitable. Really nice. Good. Relax all the way down through those left fingertips, remember. Notice if you're kind of clawing or grabbing. You want to make this enjoyable and don't worry about what it looks like. It's not the prettiest of yoga poses, to be honest. But it's really good for your shoulders and opening up through the front of the shoulder. Great. As you inhale, slowly come back onto your tummy. Hands underneath the shoulders, big toes together, push it back to child's pose. So sitting bones to heels, forehead to the earth. Lovely. Couple of breaths here. Good. Sweeping your fingertips back behind you. So fingertips towards your heels. And then interlace your fingers in the small of your back, squeezing the palms together. And then see if you can lift your fist up and overhead. Keep your forehead down onto the mat so the head's nice and relaxed. Good. And then imagine someone lifting up your fist and pulling it to the back wall. So you're going to come up to seated. So inhale, lifting yourself up, scoop up through the belly, picking yourself up to seated. Lovely. Release your hands. Take a little roll out of the shoulders. Notice how you feel. Great. We're going to come down onto our back now, and I'm going to give you options with and without the block. And for the final pose, you can stay on the blocks and let the video end if you enjoy it. Otherwise, we're coming into bridge. So come on down to your back. Heels, you want to be able to brush them with your middle finger, like so. And then feet are hip width apart, so you can kind of gauge in space where hip width would be for you. Head nice and relaxed on the mat. And then as you inhale, peeling the spine up off the mat, lifting on up, press into the feet, press into the hands. Now options here, you might want to interlace your fingers behind and tuck your shoulders back underneath you one at a time. So because we've opened up through that chest a bit more, you might find that this is more accessible. So you can really kind of broaden across that chest area. Good. Keep digging down through the feet for your glutes. Get a little bit warm, a little bit fiery there. And with every breath in, see if you can really open through that front side of your body. And find like more space, more flexibility in the front side as you build strength in the back side of the body. Wonderful. One more huge breath in. And as you exhale, bringing your hands down by the sides and slowly, slowly coming on down. Nice. Press your lower back into the mat. Take a little swing of the knees from side to side. Just take a moment to rest here. Lovely. So the final pose that we're going to do together is fish pose. And we're going to do it supported. So you can either use books, you can use a couple of pillows even. I have two here, but you might actually only want one, but I'll show you the options. So with this brick, you want to use it on this long edge, and you want to find the bottom of your shoulder blades. So like the tip, the bottom part, or like ladies where your bra strap might sit. So when you come back, just make sure you have your other one here. So you want to find that area, you're going to come on back. You can do whatever you want with the lower body. You can like have the legs straight, you can have the knees bent, totally up to you. So find that point, and then you're going to let the head drop back. Now with this head dropping back, that's quite a lot for a lot of us. Like you see, my throat is opening up. So this is where the second brick or a pillow comes into play, where you can just pop your head onto that brick and it takes some intensity out of the neck area. Now from here, you can take your arms out wide, palms shining up. You might find your legs just want to come out in front. And this is just going to be a really nice way to open up this heart space area. So whatever you fancy, grab your props, get comfy, make sure your head's nice and relaxed. You might find you want to take this away with time, so you let the head drape back further. And see if you can really just allow yourself to settle down into the shape, closing off the eyes. Breathing into the front of the body. Imagine each breath moving down and around that heart space. Relaxing down through the shoulders all the way to your thumbs and fingertips. Wonderful. So I'm going to leave you here in today's practice, and whenever you feel ready to exit, just do so nice and slowly. Remove the block. Make sure you support your head when you come up. Otherwise, take a little mini Shavasana here and enjoy.